I'm back.
So today is the day and I am on my way to the Yamabushi Training Lodge. I'm running late. I was supposed to leave the house at 9, but oh well. I woke up at 4. I probably stayed awake until maybe 5. And then I went back to sleep and woke up at 7:30ish, so I think I'm okay. I always get so nervous the day before something fun is going to happen. Like last year when my friends and I hiked up Mount Gassan, like I woke up at 4, I think, and I didn't go back to sleep that day, so I probably hiked up the mountain with like 4 or 5 hours of sleep. But you know, the adrenaline won and I had a great time, so hopefully today the adrenaline will kick in and I won't have to worry about being sleepy. The meeting time is 11:30 for repeat trainees, but for first time trainees we have to get there an hour earlier than that, so I have to be there by 10:30. I think it's about 9:20 right now, and hopefully I make it in time. I'm not sure when I get to eat lunch or if lunch is going to be served, so I brought some like an energy jelly so that I can eat maybe just before I enter the lodge, because I don't want to hike up a mountain without anything in my stomach. We have beautiful weather today, a bit too hot though. I think the high is supposed to be up to 35, maybe it was 37. Hopefully up in the mountains it's cooler. Okay, so I'll get back to you guys once I get to the training lodge.
This is the training lodge that I stayed at, and it's called Daishobo. The Yamabushi training is held by Master Hoshino, who is a 13th generation Yamabushi monk. So, I barely made it in time and had absolutely no time to film a commentary, which meant my digital detox started immediately. So this is future Connie reflecting on my 2-day Yamabushi training trip. So it's been about a month since I came back. So I barely got there in time. I went inside, I gave them my name, if I had any illnesses that they should know about beforehand, anything that I was worried about and stuff. And then I was shown to my room, which was this big, kind of like a living room. That was the room that we actually trained in. In the afternoon, we would recite sutras, but that would be the room that we would also sleep in. Well, only the females, yes. So the females get one room and the males get one room. And we sleep on futons. I don't know if I'm actually allowed to say all this, but anyway, we went through the registration. I met the people who were going on the Yamabushi training trip with me that day. We had some time to chat, and then it was time to change into our Yamabushi robes. So, I actually got injured in the first 30 minutes, which was really unfortunate, but anyway, I'll get into the details later. So we change into the Yamabushi robes, and these robes use a lot of strings. Since these robes are the same robes that the Yamabushi monks have been using for hundreds of years, there aren't buttons. Everything is tied together with a string, kind of like a kimono. I was wearing my knee supporters underneath the robe, and then I pretty firmly tied the strings underneath my knees. And then we started our training. From that point on, we're not allowed to talk. The only word you're allowed to say is uketamo, right? So the training starts, we're all sitting in the seiza style where your knees are tucked under you, and we were reciting sutras. There aren't any clocks or watches around, so I had no idea how much time had gone by. But when I tried to stand up, I couldn't feel my legs at all. When I tried to gently get on my feet, they didn't work at all. Like afterwards, I learned that everything was so tightly wrapped around under my knees, so the circulation was completely cut off for about 30 minutes, and my feet went completely numb, and that is called fibular nerve palsy. But I was determined to go on with the training. I had to crawl to the front door because my legs weren't working, because we immediately had to leave for the next training. Somehow I was able to get on my jikatabi shoes. We all had been assigned a stick that we would take on us on all the hikes. I held onto the stick with all my might and I dragged my feet along, and I did fall quite a lot, and since we can't talk, my fellow trainees couldn't ask me what was going on, and I couldn't explain what was going on. They were just thinking, why is this girl falling all over the place? Afterwards, they told me they were worried and they weren't sure if they were allowed to, lend me a hand. In a way, it was a good thing, I guess, because I had to focus on walking. I had to focus on where I placed my feet so I wouldn't, fall. I didn't want to fall into the mud, and, I don't think I've been that focused on myself for so long. That helped me throughout the training, I guess, because I was so focused on myself that I didn't care what people thought of me if I was falling all over the place. I was bleeding and bruised by the time the training was over, but like my friends told me, I really did feel enlightened, and I really did feel so energized. Like, I guess I did feel like a brand new woman. It was really an extreme experience. I'm not going to go into the details, but it was hardcore training. Like, let me just leave it at that. Once you complete the training, we did get to go to the hot springs, which felt amazing because you're walking in the hot and humid Japanese summer weather for 2 days without a bath, so you feel rejuvenated when you take that first shower. So we came back and were pleasantly surprised by a feast. So we all sat around the room facing towards each other and shared the reason why we participated in the training and what we thought about it. I don't really open up to anyone. I don't like to show my bare feelings and stuff, but when we go around the circle and everybody's pouring out their souls, I naturally had to open up as well, and I actually cried in front of a room of strangers. At that time, I was bearing out my soul, and it was like everybody was holding my hand, and normally I would be very uncomfortable with that kind of attention, but the official training was over, but it felt like this was part of cleansing the soul as well. We hadn't talked for 2 days, and since we were wearing the Yamabushi robes, we didn't really know what the person would look like underneath. And it kind of, I guess, going through the same training, even if you're not talking to each other, you kind of connect in a way. And so I really enjoyed the conversations we had afterwards with the participants. Yeah. So, to round up my experience, number 1, it's hardcore training. You really need to be in shape. Number 2, don't tie the strings too tightly. Don't be me. Number 3, it really is a life-changing experience. Since I've been back, I don't know what changed, but something changed inside of me, and I really feel good. I did have a tough time. It's strange. I mean, it really was brutal, but I really do feel that I want to go back for more. If you have any questions, you can ask me and I'll answer as I can, but I really do highly recommend checking out Kiwi Yamabushi's YouTube channel because he's the expert on it. Okay, thanks for watching till the end, and I'll see you guys in the next one.